Okay, hello, hello. We are Funny
Hello.
Minds, and I am your host, Lynn B, and my co-host, Edward Biss. And who do we have on our show today, Ed?
Today we have the mighty Vesuvius of a bass player. My good friend, proud to say bandmate now, who has
Oh.
done so much. His name is Julian Simonelli, the one and only. How you doing, my brother?
Great, man. Everything's going
Hi.
Thanks for
awesome
coming
on a
on, man.
Sunday. Yeah, you're
Long
welcome.
overdue.
Thanks for having me.
Long overdue. So what we want to do, Julian, really is just get a glimpse into how you got your start. I know you came from Long Island. We'll start off with that. How you got into music, what were your influences, what led
Yeah.
you down the path of where you found yourself now and how you found yourself in Florida.
Yeah.
Hook it up.
Yeah, this year marks 40 years I've been playing the bass, 40 years, So it's
Wow.
it's an accomplishment. I've been real humble about it. I've been real fortunate be able to play so many shows with so many great musicians I've, met along the way. I've been down here in Florida for the past 22 years. I know my
Oh, same
accent.
as me.
Oh, really? 22?
Yeah, 22 years.
Wow. I left in 2000. I started my music career in 1982. And
Good year.
yeah, oh yeah, great year.
Great year.
I was in seventh grade. And I just started playing. Kiss was my big band when I first started. I had the clothes, the fake cardboard guitars in front of the mirror, yeah, what a sight. But it started with
As
that.
we
I
all
think
did.
Kiss, started me in the late 1976, 1977. Kiss was my big band back then. They're still my big band now, but of course there was so many. I started with that. My brother Rob played guitar, and I said, hey, you know what? I want to play an instrument too because it looks cool. And all these bands that I've been hearing from him, I'm like, hey, I want to rock it out. So I picked up the bass in 1982, the fall of 82. And, I started taking lessons. I started taking lessons probably the first 6 months of my, playing. I took lessons from a great bass player named Rich. He was in a local band on Long Island. And my brother was taking lessons with his guitar player. So I started taking lessons, and right away, my brother was
Good old
2 years.
Long Island.
Yeah, the music scene was incredibly great then, and my brother had this band that was looking for a bass player, but I would just started and I wasn't even confident enough. And he's like, "Oh, these guys are doing the Battle of the Band. You'll fit right in." I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't really know too many songs yet." And he's like, these guys will wait for you. They're friends of mine, and so I'm like, well, I guess my teacher's going to have to teach me a lot of songs quickly. And,
Really quick.
Yeah, really quick. I didn't have enough time. I remember going to the first practice with a guitar amplifier. It was like 1 8-inch Marlboro guitar amp. My father bought me my first bass guitar. He's like, "Are you sure you're going to stick it out?" I'm going to buy it as Fender bass. It was a cheaper model, and he bought it for me, and I practiced a ton, and I got the opportunity to play with a band like right off the bat. They were patient enough to wait around for me to
catch up,
learn my Ronnie James Dio songs, and Iron Maiden was
Dio, nice.
Yeah. And Iron Maiden was probably Steve Harris from Iron Maiden was probably my first big influence playing. But I'm saying it takes you a while to get up to his speed. But I wanted to be like those guys, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Ozzy Osbourne,
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
But I also like Led Zeppelin, and I like Styx, stuff like Foreigner and Styx. I was introduced early on.
Well, that's a lot of bands to have a great influence with.
Yeah. And it was different, I would say I would play more heavy metal when I was younger.
It's okay.
Of course, throughout the years I played in wedding bands and top 40 and tributes, as we're going to talk about the tribute scene, which is
well-rounded.
Yeah. So I got a chance to play with female singers, male singers, heavy metal, then you kept going forward, and you broaden your horizon with my skill set got into the funk scene a little bit, got into more, wedding music, the Beatles or some hip hop or pop.
Sure.
But it's
A lot
all
of,
learning experiences for you in the
yes.
music industry.
Oh yeah, and there was so many bands and so many things and so many ways that I could have went, early on. And I'm still talking to people on Facebook and stuff about when we first started and a couple of clubs that were my first couple of gigs that, they mean something to me,
Isn't it weird who you're able to catch up with, on
Yeah.
Facebook? Like you could, catch up to people you jammed with, 20, 25 years ago. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, you're still alive. You're still in Long Island. Oh my God,
Yeah. We
I
say
had a
that
student of
about,
mine that after 9/11, he became a firefighter in New York City.
wow.
And he was a guitar student of mine in Brooklyn back in the day when I was up in New York City. And because of Facebook, able to catch up to each other. And he, after 9/11, got so influenced that he became a firefighter. And it was just
Wow.
mind blowing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing
Catch
how we're
up.
able to communicate, social media made it where it's easy to communicate and talk and speak and have full-blown conversations on Facebook or, the social media outlets. And it's funny, a lot of the work I get is actually from Facebook. I post an ad or I put up a flyer. Hey, if anybody needs, a bass player to fill in, and I get calls and I've been real fortunate, which is great, now,
I'll tell you what, Julian's so damn busy that I almost didn't call him for our project because I figured he was in 80 other bands.
Oh.
Yeah, and
And then he goes, no, I'm just filling in.
And that's the
Okay.
funny thing. A lot of my friends think because I'm real busy, oh yeah, I didn't bother calling you because you're so busy. I'm like, I'm really not in any bands. I'm in a Tom Petty tribute band now. They're like my
Yeah,
priority band right now.
Okay.
But all these other bands, they thought I was in. I'm like, no, I just fill in, when they need me. So instead of being in 6-8 bands, I fill in with 6-8 bands. I'm not in any band though. Sometimes I'm in bands for the long haul, but then most of the time lately, it seems like I just been filling in with a lot of different people, which, very humbling, was very fortunate to be able to do that. It took me a
Oh,
little
God, yeah.
while, it takes a little while to get established in the Tampa scene, and I played with most of the bands that are out there. I've, played with, one time or another. And it's just so great, to be able to play with so many great musicians. And Tampa has a great, music community.
It really does. And people would be shocked to know how good it really is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
With the amount of talent that we have here and the amount of, I mean, you could name the ex rock stars or current rock stars that are still relevant and still playing and big, everybody from lead singer of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, the lead singer of Cheap Trick, Rob Alexander.
Oh, yeah.
We have the list goes on and on and on with the scene here. And obviously the scene has changed a little bit as far as clubs, but
yeah,
still in all, the amount of talent that is here is incredible, and people don't really around the country even know. Everybody assumes LA, New York, Chicago, Nashville, obviously.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Nashville is getting dried up a little bit because it's getting it's
saturated.
Maybe they cherry pick and they take all the talent out of it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I've
So
heard.
how did you make your way down to Florida after Long Island?
Yeah, my brother and my mother, both live in, my mom lives on the other coast of Florida. She's been down about 35 years. And my brother Rob's been, and my brother Rob has been down here since 89, a long time. And now he's got a family and I got nieces and nephews. And I was tired of the rat race in, Long Island and in New York. And don't get me wrong, I love it, but I went to college. My brother was like, look, I can get you some jobs down here working computer stuff. And so I went to school, a computer science degree. And I still do that now. That's my main job. I'm a software developer by day. And I'm also a musician and I work for myself. So I'm able to wake up when I want if I have a weekday gig or, work. And it works out perfect for me. And I've been real fortunate, like with that, where I'm able to come and go on both situations, the band. And I've always done that. When one job got a little slow, I just upped the band or I upped the computer work. And I've been doing that for like 30 years now, and it's
Oh,
worked
that's
okay for
great.
me, you know.
Okay.
And so my
It
brother
can't be
brought
any
me
more
in.
perfect than that. I mean, that's
Yeah, I mean, you've got your own office at home, so it's not like
Yes.
you have to run out anywhere. You do your gig and and then you do
that's
the music gig when you can.
every
Yeah.
musician's dream is to
Yeah.
be able to perform and
Yeah.
Excuse me.
work for themselves. That would be like
Yeah,
ideal.
that is perfect.
It works out good for my situation, and right when I came down to Florida in 2000, I met somebody on a plane who, I had a database book, a computer book, and some guy was next to me saying, hey, you do computer programming. And we started talking. And then somebody yelled from across the seat, hey, are you playing out, Scotty? His name was Scotty. So I'm like, what do you mean playing out? You're talking my same language here. And I'm like, you're in a band? And then it was, hey, our band's looking for a bass player. This is when I first came down here in 2001 or 2000. So I got into a band, like the
On
first
the
six
plane?
on the plane from a person who was sitting next to me
Wow.
who was a guitar
How
player in one of the.
interesting is that?
And so I got hooked right up. Like 6 months I was here in Florida, and I already got hooked up with a pretty good band. And we,
That's badass.
we were together for like 10 years.
Uh-huh.
A band called Tantrum, and we still play like
Tantrum.
reunion.
Tantrum, yes.
Tantrum, I've
Yeah.
never heard of him, but you've heard of him?
No, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, in Tampa, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
okay.
And like I said, we still get together today and do like a reunion gig like once a year, and it's great bunch of friends, and it's
Get the
such a good
band back
time.
together.
So that's how it got started for me down here in Florida. Of course, I played in hundreds of different bands, on Long Island, mostly, cover bands and stuff like that. And I was real fortunate to meet a ton of people. And the more people you meet, and somebody asks you to fill in or play a gig, and then it's
Oh,
just
God,
becomes
yeah.
where everybody knows everybody. And hey, you're a bass player. Hey, you sing. And hey, you fill in with people. So then you start just meeting so many people, helping out. They help you out, and it just started that way, where you just keep playing with so many different bands and you get to know everybody, and sometimes on Long Island, there's some pretty famous people too that play,
Yeah.
that go on
Yeah,
tour.
Long Island, there's a lot of bands, Long
You
Island.
gotta
Yeah.
think Billy
Yeah.
Billy Joel.
Yeah.
What
Just a lot of people. Twisted
Rich would tell me
Sister and
Steve Vai.
Twisted Sister, a band called
John,
Zebra.
Twisted Sister. You got John Petrucci.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got,
I hung out with those guys. Yeah. Dream Theater.
Richie Blackmore used to hang out
Twisted
there.
Sister you hung out with. He's such a lunatic, that guy.
Snyder
Oh,
is
yeah.
So
awesome.
crazy.
I love
crazy.
I don't
Yeah,
know him.
yeah.
I never met him, but I love him.
I delivered, I worked a landscaping company. I delivered rocks one time to his house, and I seen him, but he didn't talk
Rocks.
much. Yeah, rocks,
Oh,
landscaping.
apropos, right?
Yeah.
Let's
and,
rock. I can see Julian outside, like, let's rock.
Yeah. He had the hair out. I had the hair in a ponytail, and yeah, like I said, there's a lot of pretty cool people that played on the island, and it still lived there that I've got the opportunity to play with, like Bobby Rondinelli. He played with Rainbow and Deep Purple and a Black Sabbath out. They become your friends, and you say, hey, can you fill in with us? And you're playing with these big rock stars going, oh man, this is the, lifetime.
right.
I get to play with some of my idols, and these guys are just hanging out, playing clubs on the island when they're off tour. And you got a chance to play with these guys. And it's such like an honor, to be, wow, but I'm just like, yeah, then you meet people. And
It's a mind-blowing moment.
Yeah, and I've had a couple of them, even with the tribute thing. I know we were talking about, where I got the opportunity to play with some pretty, the popular guys, just because I was in, certain tribute bands, and, they were out of work or they were off the tour. So they're like, yeah, might as well have some fun and keep it up. And, like I was telling you about Zoltan, and he plays with Vince Neil. And I had the opportunity to play with him for a whole year. And, we talk all the time on the phone, and,
Zoltan played with Vince, and he played with Mark as well.
Yes, Slaughter. Yes. He's still with Vince Neil, but when Vince Neil and the guys went on tour this past couple
And
months.
Vince uses Zoltan, he uses Dana.
Yes.
And then Blando.
Yeah, Blando.
And Blando's phenomenal.
Those guys are just amazing guys. They live in Blando, lives
Orlando.
local. He lives in like Lake Mary or somewhere out in Florida here. And
yeah, he's up towards Orlando. Actually, Callie played with him and knew him for many years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he knows Blando very well. Very well.
Lando plays with Vince Neil guitar, but he actually is a sound man too, and most people don't know that.
Oh, a very good sound man, and that's how he got the gig with Slaughter.
Yeah,
was just happened that they were like, or Vince, I think Vince, he was a monitor guy.
Yeah,
and Vince was like, my monitor guy sucks. And he had Blando, and then Blando played guitar, and he was like, "Oh my God,
yeah,
you're hired." Yeah, and Blando's phenomenal talent. And Zoltan,
great guy,
the drummer, it's you think Sean's a show? You got to see this guy.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a Florida guy too. He lives down in Jupiter or West Palm Beach, down that area. Zoltan
on the East Coast. And where's Mom at? Is she on the East Coast?
She's on the other coast. She's up in Palm Coast. It's not too bad.
Oh, okay.
2.5 hour drive over.
I know.
And I'm happy to be down here. That's the reason why I'm really down here. Everybody likes, oh, the sun, it's really hot, the beach. I'm really not a beach person. I enjoy going once in a while. But like my main thing is my mom lived here and my brother lives here. And I'm like, I want to be closer to them.
That's it. You got family. That's your family. Yeah. You want to be by your family.
Yeah,
Julian also, besides a prolific bass player and obviously a male dancer, he's also an established chef. So Julian and I are going to go head to head on a Iron Chef music tribute battle to the death of
in the kitchen.
I think we're gonna probably stick to Italian. I think we're gonna probably go head to head meatballs. Who's got the tastier balls, Julian?
Yeah.
Who wants to eat my balls? Or who would rather eat your balls, Julian?
Yeah.
I don't know, but we're gonna find that out.
You make big
and we're gonna get aprons that say "Walk and Roll," and we're gonna go head to head, and we're gonna podcast it. They're gonna watch it.
Bring it on, man! I'm ready to go, man. The good thing is we get to eat. Hey,
yes,
I don't get this way from not eating. You know what I'm saying?
You don't lose. I always said that to musicians. They're like, yeah, how do you meet so many women, in this business? And you go, just cook. You feed them. They won't leave you. Believe me.
They will come. If you feed them, they will come.
My wife will never leave me because I feed her. It's like having a pet dog. Like if you feed them, no, I don't.
That's funny.
She won't watch this episode. She's like, I don't want to watch you. I live with you.
That's great, but it's funny because even talking Facebook posts, everybody unfollows you because they say you post too much. I got so many friends saying, "Oh, I unfollowed you," and this and that, and but the minute I post something about but the minute I post a food dish that I'm out to eat at Burns or I'm cooking, I get 1 million hits.
Yeah.
I post where I'm playing, I get 3 friends going, "Hey, maybe I'll see you tonight." And it's funny that I post food. We got to do something with food and music because food definitely. I get 100 hits.
Rules.
I say I'm playing out, I get 3 people commented. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that and animals. I could, like you, do huge shows where you get an opportunity to play in front of like 20 or 30,000 people, which for tribute bands happens if you're good enough. And then I'll show a picture or video of my kitten and get, 4,000 hits. So you found yourself in Florida. Obviously, you know your family came down here, your mom, your brother.
Yes.
You found a gig on the flight over, which is insane.
Yeah.
That's luck beyond luck.
Yeah.
And
I was already here for a few months, and then I went back to New York, and that's when I met this guy Scotty, who introduced me to my first project that I got into, once I was in Florida. And it came quick. I thought it was going to be longer than that, and I don't really know many people, but it was really quick, and I was already up and running in like the first 6 months of living here, which was great.
Okay. Headphones.
We're aliens. I'm an alien.
Where did you come from, Eddie? You lived in Jersey?
I grew up in North Jersey, Bergen County.
Oh yeah, that's
And
my
I
brother lives
had a
there.
history up there with like I played with PJ Farley from Trickster.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, years ago. I played with PJ before Trickster. We played like a garage band together. He was like 16. It was oh, it was great. But we used to play with Trickster almost every week at a place called like the Black Cat or something like that out
oh
in like
really?
Hillsdale or something like that. So I knew
Wow.
those guys for a long time. Eddie Furman, who was a big guitarist there. I took some lessons from him for a while. But my main
Really?
teacher was a guy by the name of Alex Adrian, who was a jazz teacher who taught at Berkeley for 14 years. He was from Romania. And I
Wow.
used to go and travel out to see him in Queens. And a funny story is Johnny Brennan from the Jerky Boys, who I'm buddies with, he had Alex as a teacher as well. So when we started talking, and I mentioned Alex Adrian, he's like, "You got to be shitting me. He was my teacher too."
Well, get out of here.
I was like, "Yeah,
You got paint
it was
work.
phenomenal." Yeah, Johnny Brennan,
You got
and
paint work. Looking for paint work.
that's right, there, Chief. He's honestly, Johnny's the nicest guy. He really is. Just a great. He's a down to earth guy. But it's ironic that he was actually a fan of the Queen band. So
Oh wow.
he contacted Joe Murphy, and then Joe told me, he's like, "Hey, Johnny Brennan," because he
Wow.
knew I love the Jerky Boys. He's like, contacted us. He's a fan. So I reached out, and that's how we got the dialogue going. And he gave me his number, and we started talking and FaceTime and the whole
Wow.
thing. And he's a great guy, man. But that was, dude,
Wow.
that's yeah. Oh, Julian knew Rich Rubin back from Long Island.
Oh, really? Oh, well,
Yes.
yeah, he was on our show last time I was down. Yeah.
Oh
Very
yeah.
interesting man.
He used to come out and see, some of the bands I was playing with back in I think the late 80s, early 90s. I was in a bunch of bands and he was in a band too. I remember seeing his band play somewhere on the island, like back in like probably 91, maybe 92, nineteen
Hmm.
ninety one, 92. I
Be
used to
honest,
play with this.
unmemorable.
I played with
I
this
said, be
band.
honest, unmemorable.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure he watches this episode because I'm going to rip him up. Rich, you suck.
Yeah, he
No,
used to
but
like this band that I played with called Kid Gloves, and I played with the
Kid
couple
Gloves. No
Kid
way.
Gloves. Yeah. Yeah, I was
I
in a version
remember
of that
that
group.
band. Didn't they have a female singer at one point?
Yes, later on, but like in the beginning, like they had a lot of versions of Kid Gloves. Some of the guys was the drummer of Miranda Lambert. He played with her for like
Oh,
12 years, called Keith
wow.
Zambrowski. And Brian DeVoe had that song, This is a Story About a Girl, Try to river and crown a whole world, whatever like that. He had a couple of groups, a couple of the guys from Kid Gloves. It was funny. A couple of those guys went over and played. And yeah, Rich used to go and see those guys play a bunch, Kid Gloves. I don't think I was in the group then. Like I said, I was in one version of, the band back early 90s, which was funny. Yeah, Rich was in a band that played a little bit over there on the island too. He plays guitar, Rich, right?
Nah,
I don't know what he does. I don't remember what he said.
He kind of does a little.
Or he sang
everything.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
He sang, play guitar, but no, not well.
Yeah.
No, he's good at what he does now. But Julian, what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap this up, and we're gonna do a follow up with you.
Yes.
A part 2 of Julian Simonelli, so we get deeper into the tribute aspect of what you're doing now with Tom Petty, what you've done with Completely Unchained.
Yeah.
What you do for work, and then what you got on the docket next. All right, my friend.
So
Great, sounds
you want to
great.
give our listeners your information on your company. So
Sure.
if they need anything done, and you
Yeah.
give us, let everybody know. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I have my website, juliansimonelli.com. Of course, you can check me out on Facebook and Instagram and, all of the free social media outlets, Twitter. You could always get a hold of me there. My phone number, all my information is on my website.
Okay.
So it's a one-stop shop. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And, thank you guys for having me. You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much for being on the show, and I want you on
welcome.
the show again. I'll be back in November, and
Great.
we'll do a follow-up. And I'd like to thank all of the people for watching our episodes. and remind you that two organizations that we're very proud of and hope to donate and hope people donate for us is St. Jude's Children's Hospital and breast
Right.
cancer. And when you go on to look at the episode, when you go on funnyminds.podbean.com, there's a donate button. You can click that and donate, and we'll be giving the money to those two great organizations.
That's
And
wonderful.
also, if you live in the Tampa area, you're coming to Tampa, fun night out, Side Splitters, great premiere comedy club. Go there. You won't regret it. You'll have a great time. So Julian, I thank you again a lot, and you'll
Yes,
be
you're
back
welcome.
on hopefully again in November. Okay.
Great, thank you, and you have a wonderful evening. And thank you,
Okay.
Eddie. And
We'll be jamming very shortly.
yes, sir. And thank you guys. Have a great night.
All right, Jill.
Okay.
Well.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good night. Bye.